check those players out. Jking, I for sure will, and Senin. I'm definitely going to be looking these guys up afterwards. Maybe have streams and awesome stuff like that. Support the scene.
And yeah, that's how all sports work. I mean, if you watch football, if you watch basketball, American football, there's always new players coming in, new blood that really gives the sport extra life and is really fun to watch them learn and grow and get better, or sometimes they flame out, but that's part of the drama as well. So definitely pay attention to these newbies who make it far in tournaments, because they might be the next Flash for all we know.
Big boss? Oh, okay. So what name are we going with? Are we going with Jking? I'll call him Jking. Apparently his ID of Jking in-game translates to Big Boss. But since we know him as Jking, we're going to call him Jking. And it rolls off the tongue. So guys, we're heading into the last semi-final of the day to determine who will face Firecake in the finals. It is Bly versus Jking. So to the north, or I guess to the south. In this case, we have the blue Zerg. It is Bly.
And to the direct north, the only other place he could have spawned, it is the red Terran player, Jking.
All right. Well, I'm stoked to see what this Jking has to offer. As he's playing Terran, this is a interesting concept. We haven't seen too many Terrans. We saw Top. I find Terran an interesting concept, if you haven't noticed.
Yeah, we saw Top. I think, is that it? Is that the only Terran we've seen?
That's what I'm brainstorming about right now. I'm just like, I think it is.
Think. Top and... No, it's been ZVZs and ZVPs the whole way, except for that one series.
Only if Moro played his rightful race, then we would have saw a different Terran too. But no, he decided to play for Ire, but we'll see. All right, guys, we'll see how this one goes. Bly, though, he performed really well in the first qualifier as well. He is qualified for the global finals, so maybe we'll get a preview here of what he has in store for then.
All right, so TwistCat is telling us that Jking is the Russian top GM on the ladder in the European ladder. Terran. There's a lot of clarifications there.
That's good.
So basically, the Russian top GM European Terran player. So people know who he is, apparently.
So he's out doing like, oh, there's a lot of good players from Russia and the region, I guess, Eastern Europe. But that's interesting. Good for him, I guess, stepping up.
Go Jking. I'm on board.
Yeah, that's great. More hype for him, guys. More hype for him indeed. All right, guys. But Bly is a strong player, also known to often be on fire, and we'll see if that translates to in this series as we have, Roach Warren going down quite fast for Bly.
Yep, the Reaper Harass is shoved away by more Lings than you usually see there on the creep. It was 6 Lings, I think, chasing him around on the creep. And he's trying to kill stuff, not doing a super great job of it. But again, the Reaper's job is more scouting. KDA charge, a bit of a miss there. But at the same time, always fun to see that little thing explode and make things go flying. So a bit of a 1-1-1 build on the way here from Jking, getting the factory, getting a command center. Probably see a starport directly out of there. Queen going to enjoy defending the base at the same time. And the Reaper just mostly being annoying at this point.
Yeah, some Lings died, but they served their purpose just to... actually, they prevented some scouting, and they prevented any economic damage being done by that Reaper, as annoying as they are, especially with their new bomb ability, you could say. It's quite a pain in the butt for most Zerg players. But he managed to get his Queen out in time, delayed bot time with his Lings, and there's a Roach Warren that is done. So his push has commenced here. A couple Roaches, some Lings. He's droning up behind this, though.
He is. It's still aggressive, though. This is a lot of Lings and Roaches out for the 3-minute section of the game, and actually might force a liftoff on that orbital command, which would be huge. Ravagers being morphed in here. That supply depot is definitely going to fall. Canceled for that 75 mineral refund. That orbital command's going to lift. I don't know what Jking's going to do here about that orbital command being under fire.
Well, there's a siege tank almost done, though, too. But will this wall go down before... No, the siege tank is out. Another one's on the way. Sieged up. This will repel this attack, I think, unless he gets some good corrosive bile shots onto that tank. But it is in a nice position done by Jking. That's just out of an effective range of these Ravagers.
Oh, he almost saved the supply depot. Not quite able to do it. Ravager finishes it off. And right now, just this Ravager aggression. Pretty interesting stuff indeed. Getting shots off on the siege tank, throwing down corrosive bile, losing one. to the siege tank as well. But like you said, just kind of droning up behind it as 32 workers to 21. A one base Terran right now, never where Terran wants to be. They want to have 2 or 3 bases ideally. And this delay, actually a pretty solid opening move here from Bly.
Yeah, if nothing else, it forced Jking to build units at a time he did not want to do. Again, also completely nullified the economy with that natural being forced to lift off, and no workers being built at the time as well. So Bly is in an excellent position, taking his third base, saturated his natural. He knows that drop tanks are a possibility now, but he looks to be in an excellent position to defend any sort of counter aggression that Jking has in store.
Yeah, it feels like Jking just kind of needs to stabilize, needs to get up ample defense to defend against anything that's going to come his way, and then worry about attacking the Zerg player, which lets him get his lair, getting speed for his lings at the same time, spreading that creep, which is so important for engagements. And yeah, Bly just feeling very comfortable, up 35 to 28 harvesters, and continuing to make that lead as big as he can.
I like Bly spreading out his overlords towards the north of his base. Doesn't want any tank drops coming in unexpected. That's one way to set back your own build. As these tanks are being moved across the map as I say this. So we'll see if Bly has enough coverage to be able to spot them before they do any critical damage.
Yep, so everybody's favorite sight is the flying siege tank, one of the most popular things in StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. So weird to see. One of the recent patches did make them a little bit less powerful in that there's about a second delay from when they land to when they can shoot. You'll notice, land, then shoot. They used to be able to shoot immediately, which was just insane. I mean, they were so hard to stop that way, but this at least gives you a chance to get in there and do some damage. But I don't know if there's enough actually here to take this down. Corrosive Biles are just being dodged by Jking, lifting up the siege tanks and moving them out of the way. It's kind of a brilliant play, to be entirely honest. And there we go, Corrosive Bile missing again. Oh, kills his own Ravager with it. Ouch. And just again, not getting greedy, just picking up, boosting out of the way, finding another angle to attack, not allowing anything to really hit his tanks. Wow,
yeah, excellent micro.
So fantastic. Reminds me of Immortal Warp Prism micro from more popular Heart of the Swarm days.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a pretty powerful build. Again, lets him try to catch up. Still workers. He's quite a bit behind as far as worker count is. So as much as this is an interesting harass, he is just killing a handful of army units. He's not killing economy with this attack. So I still think Bly is in an absolutely perfect position right now due to his initial attack, which set him so far ahead that he can afford to lose a couple units here and there from this 2-tank harass. Again, what does it, pick off a roach here and there? Nothing critical yet. So fancy
some
play.
Damage to hatcheries, but not really killing any buildings.
Yeah, it's pretty to watch, but it's not exactly getting him ahead either.
Nope, definitely not. And actually might be enough on the ground here. No, still continuing his aggression on the low ground, taking some shots. The siege tanks are actually taking damage here, a little bit more than I expected, considering how good the micro's been. But at the same time, keeping these alive, going to go on the backside of these rocks, I think, and maybe get some splash damage. Oh, Corrosive Bile anticipating it.
Oh,
almost hit, but not quite. Jking's reaction's
close.
A little bit too quick there.
Yeah, Bly has a healthy 3-base economy right now. Not fully saturated on his third base, but he's getting his upgrades. He has +1/+1 like range attack on the way, as well as burrow. So we're going to look at some burrowed roach play, which I think is an excellent choice right now against what he's seen so far. Definitely can't argue with that. Workers are about 60 drones for Bly and 44 for Jking. Still stuck on 2 bases, Jking, but he's powering up back home. A lot of tanks, a lot of Marines, but no third CC. Interesting.
Here comes the drop, lifting up.
Look at that production.
Yeah, definitely more of a 2-base kind of attack he's trying to do here. Meanwhile, the Zerg player is on 4. Jking needs to do something like in the next 2 minutes, or he's in a lot of trouble here.
Yeah, he's on a timer. His economy is fast dwindling, especially with the mule on these bases in Legacy of the Void that mine out quite a bit faster than in its predecessors of StarCraft 2. The main base of Bly is mined out as well, but he has taken that fourth as previously mentioned. Now the push has commenced for our Terran player, but they're coming down right down this choke, and with Corrosive Bile, he actually could put on a pretty good, a lot of damage on this bio-heavy army. But that's flying tanks, so you can't get too close to them. This will be interesting how it's executed. Bly is going to throw down a bunch of Corrosive Biles just to repel the Bile Force of Jking, but he manages to get the tanks siege down, forces Bly to charge in there, get some Corrosive Biles, run on top of the tanks, will kill a bunch of the tanks in a moment. So this is actually a pretty good engagement for Jking, best as he can hope for, but is it enough? His army is streaming more in. Oh wow, the numbers just started to plummet as the low health roaches just got evaporated by the stim bio. This is a powerful push by our red Terran player.
It really is, and the tanks are alive somehow. I thought for sure Corrosive Bile would kill them. Roaches are trying to do what they can against these units, but gathering up Marines, Marauders, tanks, setting up more reinforcements. Tanks continuing to push across that narrow choke, losing his natural here.
Had a Manor Mule. That was a Manor Mule.
Was it? I guess it could be repairing the tanks, but no. Not necessary here. And again, just the Bile army strong enough in this particular situation to really crush and push through. But again, keep in mind, if Bly can hold this off, he's not in a terrible position. But right now, it doesn't look like that's actually going to happen. 22 drones have died, and that's it. GG from Bly. Jking takes game number 1 in surprisingly strong fashion there.
I mean, let's keep in mind here, Jking beat Soulkey. Guys, Jking beat Soulkey in this event. Yeah, he's definitely no joke. And just looking at that build, I was questioning it. Like, oh, that's a lot of tanks. And like, what is this guy gonna turtle up at on 2 base? Even on this two base for a little too long. But it's not about taking a third. It never was. It's about building as much as you can, effectively as possible, as fast as you can, while keeping your opponent on his side of the base, so your production is not disrupted. And that's exactly what he did. So I was loving Bly's position up until the point that that attack occurred, and Bly just did not have enough, units to deal with it. It was close though. He did get the corrosive bile on the tanks that were sieged, and they weren't being lifted away, but he only managed to kill 2, I believe. And there's still 3 that were alive at least, and they were enough to clear out the rest of these low health roaches. Just, I don't know, like 10 or 12 of them just evaporated because they're so low health, and that spelled the end for our Zerg player. Guys, this is the semifinals of the Gauntlet StarCraft Legacy of the Void Qualifier number 2 on the EU server, guys. Bly versus the unheralded Jking, coming out of nowhere, coming out of the depths of Russia, and showing us how StarCraft is played there, and it's a beautiful sight to see so far. So, have you got an invite there, Falcon?
Not quite yet.
Nope, not yet.
Still waiting on it. They're working on it, I think.
Yeah, we're just gonna enter the lobby for the... Okay, we're good now. Alright, cool. Guys, this is the Gauntlet StarCraft Legacy of the Void series. The event is brought to you by Nexus Recall, Falcon Paladin, and is sponsored by C-Tone. You'll see him around in chat, and the Gauntlet crew. You can follow them at Gauntlet SC2 on Twitter. I'm Bobby Awesome. Casting with me is Falcon Paladin. You may have seen this guy around before on the YouTubes. And pleasure to be here casting for this wonderful series of events, Gauntlet StarCraft events. We're gonna be heading into... We have a... Have you logged... Are you in the lobby yet?
I've not received an invite.
No invite yet. Maybe you'll have to, I think, exit StarCraft and log back in. That happens sometimes.
We'll give that a shot. It does.
He's gonna try that. All right, cool. All right, as we do that, guys. Also, a little bit of just the announcements for next Saturday, guys, is the Gauntlet StarCraft Legacy of the Void Global Finals. So, top 4 players here that we have so far: Jking, Firecake, Myungshik, and Bly qualified in the week previous. So, Senin also qualifies for next week's event. Joining them are Nurchio, Apocalypse, Byun, and the aforementioned Bly. As far as invites, there are 8 invites in total, including Polt, Violet, Solar, Jakshi, and more to be announced. That's 16 players vying for a $1,000 prize pool. That is next Saturday, guys, right here. So hit up that follow button right here on this channel. Head over to Twitter at GauntletSC2 to get more updates and up-to-date information on these events. It is going to be a sick event with the Gauntlet Global Finals next week. All right, guys, we are in the lobby now. All things sorted out. We'll be heading into this next game right now. Where did my pen go? You have my pen. All right. See, always need notes. All right, guys, we're heading into the game right now. It is Prior and Terraces between Acer.Bly and Jking. This Jking guy, if he continues this streak, I wonder, like, is the team gonna pick him up or something? I don't even know if he's on a team. I'd like to find out what in the world am I watching right now.
Whoa!
This game has just started. Something happened. Oh, guys,
we have to lift off to the gold. That's what it is.
I haven't seen this since like Wings of Liberty and MVP and doing this sort of thing. All right, guys. Well, why not? That is a very close distance. How come I don't see more of that? That is amazing.
That does seem it should be more standard.
All right, so in that respect, guys, to the south of this map at this gold, doing some crazy awesome. He's having problem landing his CC. It is Jking.
And to the north, we have the red Zerg player currently down 0-1 to who's being called the Russian Flash. This is Acer.Bly.
Yeah, I mean, with what I've seen this one game so far, I'm super impressed by that. It wasn't just the build, it was how he was executing the build and multitasking while macroing back. Look at this, guys. We have proxy 2 racks going on right now. Right here, right now. So he not only flies his CC over to the gold. Actually, it's a proxy 3 racks by the looks of it. Sneaky, sneaky little bugger. Yeah, there's the 3rd racks going down. Wow. Why not? I mean,
this is why you drone scout, Zergs. I don't understand why they refuse to do this.
I never drone scout, but now I'm never not going to, if that makes sense. But he does have his, his spawning pools just now. Gas is on the way. That is really interesting. Gas is pretty early, so he's gonna have speed pretty much immediately after the spawning pool finishes. He's gonna get that on the way. But will he have anything in time? This Overlord is on its way past these. No, but it's not going to be in range. Unless he... Oh, it will turn it, though. His waypoint is going to move across these barracks. So I think Bly may hit a bit of luck here. But is this quick enough is the question. The timing will actually line up well for him. He sees the Marines sitting in the middle of the map. Immediately runs his Overlord away. Will get killed by these Marines.
Immediately makes a Roach Warren. Bunker coming up at the natural as well. I'd have to pull some drones, I think. I don't think he's going to have enough to handle this without pulling some workers. But it is Bly. We'll see how we can handle it.
Yeah, Bly's a pretty good player. The bunker is about halfway done. Lings are on the way to try to deny that and will indeed force a cancel on that bunker. But the boys have been pulled. SCVs all across, running across that map.
And SCV Marine all in. What year is it? All right, I feel like the link count is enough. If they catch these Marines, that's a huge deal for Bly. Gonna try to do it here, and he is STVs trying to absorb some hits from these links as well. Reinforcing Marines show up and clear that up very easily. Roaches starting to get pulled out here. He's gonna have to lose this base. I don't think Bly can save it. Queen backs herself into a corner, trying to not get surrounded by these units. The Marines put her out of her misery, though. She ends up exploded. It is 1 base to 1 base, but the SCV pull means that Bly can hold this. He'll be in a fantastic position, and roaches are the way to do it.
Yeah, roaches are his lifeline right now, but he only has a couple more popping out right where the Marines are, though. So running right into the shredder, and these roaches are getting evaporated pretty quickly, being focus fired by these Marines and workers. Although there's not a whole lot of Marines left, though, a lot of workers. Some Marines are being pumped out right now, just a handful, and but the number of roaches is paltry at best. There's 2 on the field right now, with a few more being made as we speak. 5 more roaches. In fact, if he could buy enough time to get those 5 roaches, he may actually be in a winnable position. Is Bly. So Bly is not out of it yet. Very well played by our blue Terran, but I think if Bly holds on, doesn't lose those. Yeah, I think that's enough. That is more than enough, I think. As long as he doesn't get overextend. But yeah, that's enough roaches. And wow, this is actually shut down, but very, very close.
The bunker, though. Okay, bunker's full.
The bunker's actually at this point largely irrelevant. Just is not in range of the hatch. So well played by Bly. Excellent, excellent. I think any lesser player would have immediately GG'd out of that.
So Bly keeps his natural. He's up 23 to 7 harvesters over Jking. Jking still being fairly aggressive here. I don't know, not in range of the hatchery, which is a big deal. He can't do any damage to the hatch from that bunker, but at the same time, just trying to micro his way through. Avoid taking shots from that acid saliva, because those hit Marines so hard. Another roach dies there, and isn't enough Marines to actually kill these roaches. Might actually be losing another roach, and another roach going to fall here. 6 roaches in production to replace the ones that are dying. And I just don't know. I don't see how Jking wins this.
Yeah, Bly's in an excellent position right now. I mean, he kind of cut back creating some roaches there for a bit, but that has more than made up for it with his income, the income difference here. He manages to get in between the Marines and the bunker, picking off some extra Marines before they could enter said bunker, and picks off another one. The writing is on the wall for our blue Terran player, but an excellent build. Man, that is gutsy if I've ever seen a build.
That was entertaining, if nothing else. I'll give him that.
Yeah. Yeah, well played. Just not quite executed properly. It was also a safe opening by Bly. That was a healthy opening. Got his gas early, had speed on the way if he needed it. Or had the option of getting speed, but instead got the roaches. I'm sure it was likely intended for speed. And either way, getting that gas early is what saved him, and that's enabled his roaches to pop out and defend that build. But now we'll see. What is our Terran buddy here, Jking, going to do about these roaches on his side of the map now?
He needs that bunker down, but no, it gets canceled. He kills the SCV building the bunker. Another SCV comes over to replace it. A Ravager now on the field as well. Excellent with that extra range. Going to be so useful here. Corrosive Bile being thrown down, doing some damage to the bunker. And I mean, Jking at this point is just dead in the water. He's trying to bring Marines back to defend, but it's 35-8 harvesters now.
Yeah.
Bly has a ton of money, can make, is getting lings, he's getting ravagers and roaches. The contain is set up here. Jking cannot expand, and I think this is going to be it. Coming to the high ground from within the natural main.
Oh.
Look at that.
Nice.
Oh, can't even mine it at all either. The Marines are coming and try to save their workers, but SCVs are falling. There are 2 left on the field. The roaches finished off the rest, and that's it. A GG from Jking. And Bly wins game number 2.
Well, tip of the hat to you, Sir Bly. That was a nice little move at the end there, just to solidify the game that he was already quite a bit in the lead of after that excellent hold that he did. Miracle hold, really. That is such a powerful move, especially on that map with that getting that gold so quickly. That's something I've not seen before. Highly entertaining. Jking is a star in the making, that is for sure. Guys, that ties it up 1-1 between Jking and Bly in this best of 5. In the semifinals of the Gauntlet StarCraft Legacy of the Void Qualifier number 2. We're going to be heading into game number 3 right now as the game invites are being sent. Wow.
What else can you say there? It was a gutsy move.
It was, man. Like, what gall. Like, the guy, I want to meet this guy. It's like, know his life story. Like, he plays StarCraft and he takes no prisoners, you know? He's not here to play a game. It kind of reminds me, though, his hold, like, he didn't die particularly quick. Reminds me of Shades of MVP versus Lenok in one of their epic series in the I think it was GSL, but I just don't remember if it was team leagues or not. I think it was the this normal. No, it wasn't. It was GSL Code S. I think it was like quarterfinals, and this one game where MVP just would not die. He eventually did, but it took like 40 minutes longer than it should have. He was so far behind. Had like 4 workers at some point in the game to like the 50 of Lenok, and still lived on and fought on and fought on. It was just a crazy game. That was years ago. But anyway, guys, we're heading into game 3 right now.
I mean, in general, Terrans, if you don't kill them, they can come back. They are they're like Jason from the horror movies. If you don't actually chop off his head, you're in a bad spot.
All right, Terrans, you're all Jason from the horror movie. All right, guys, to the west of the map, we have the blue Zerg player. It is Bly.
And directly opposite his opponent, it is the red Terran player, Jking, also apparently known as Big Boss.
That's a good name, actually, Big Boss.
Mm-hmm. I like it.
I'm only calling him Jking because that's what's written in front of me, so it's easy to say. I was in the middle of a battle, I just called that guy.
The Terran's doing stuff.
Yeah. The blue
so
guy.
there is not
Or
a proxy command center this time. No proxy command center. I'm kind of surprised.
No proxy anything.
No proxy hatchery. No proxy barracks. Very standard opening this time for the players. Going to give us a bit of a break from the insanity that was game number 2. And is this a best of 5?
Yes, best of 5.
All right, cool. So currently it is 1-1. Bly has 1 win. Jking has 1 win. We've reset the series. Still requires 2 games to move on to the final.
Yeah, we got actually a similar opening to the previous game from Bly by the looks of it. And, you know, getting that gas pretty fast, if I see that correctly on the minimap. So, but this time unfettered by proxy 3 racks. So we'll see what his game plan is using that, utilizing that opening for Bly. But more interesting than that, I want to see what this crazy guy has, Jking has in store for us this time.
Absolutely. And I mean, man, after the insanity of that last game, this is like slow. I need to readjust my expectations.
I mean, but then again, the first game started off pretty similar, I suppose. And then it ended in a crazy fashion with the 2-base Terran stream of doom all in. Beautiful thing to behold, if I say.
Absolutely. Very fun to see. All right, so the factory is coming up here as well as the command center. So a 1-1-1 built into an early expand. The Reaper throwing down the KD8 charge, not doing much of damage to anything. 4 lings going to hold him off 6 lings, actually. Bly kind of favoring the increased ling count against a single Reaper.
He does.
Not sure what he sees that no one else does, but it works. And trying to get a surround on the Reaper? No.
Well, it's because he sacrifices early on, getting his spawning pool a little later than he normally would, which delays the queens. So he has to buy some time when getting lings out first. Normally you don't want to get the lings at all. Get the queen out first, and maybe 2 lings at most, but it's just the way he opens. It forces him to get lings, otherwise he's going to lose drones to that opening Reaper. Something as simple as an opening Reaper, never mind 2 or 3. So I think getting those 6 lings out is an absolute necessity for the way Bly tends to open.
So somebody threw out some details about that game you watched. It was MVP versus Innovation. It was a Hellbat drop, and MVP lost all but 9 workers and still came back to win the game.
Oh, that was a different one, yeah. Because there was a Lenok one in the GSL, but that Innovation versus MVP one, yeah, that's legendary stuff right there, too. That was the rise of Innovation, and towards the end of MVP's era. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Okay, we got some Hellions catching some of these, some of Bly's lings out in the middle of the map, roasting them to bits, not taking a whole lot of damage themselves. Nice by Jking here, denying any of those lings from entering his base. Again, any denied scouting is good denied scouting for either player here.
Which is nice, denying scouting. If you can do it, it's hard, but if you can do it, you're in a good place. Spire actually coming up for Bly. Is this going to be more of a Mutaling Bling type thing, or 2-base Muta?
Yeah, 2-base Muta in Legacy of the Void. Why not?
Fair enough. Can agree with that one. Meanwhile, an Armory is coming up for Jking. And a Liberator. Hey, making Liberators too, so definitely switching it up from game number 1.
Yeah, I'll actually like to see some more Liberator play here, and that's actually really nice to have, considering the Mutalisks will be the build of the day for Bly, considering he's still on 2 bases. It doesn't look like he has any signs of taking his 3rd yet either. I wonder if he's going to try to fake it or not. But these Hellions are going to apply some pretty heavy pressure on these queens, actually taking these queens quite low in health. The lings try to surround these Hellions, but I guess now they're Hellbats in this case. Frying up those lings, uncontested as they walk off the ramp with this lone medevac providing some support. There is nothing on the field here for Bly to contend with these Hellbats and Marines. A couple queens, pretty low in health, is one of them. Chasing them down is Jking, and he's trying to buy some time so these spines get up. The spines do get up, but one gets taken down immediately, and he's in a perfect position too. You cannot attack with lings in that little choke point with splash damage of these Hellbats. Absolutely insane attack right now. Very unexpected, very fast as well.
So the Spine Crawler's putting in work, and actually does have 2 or 3 Hellbat kills there, which is nice, but the Liberator shows up and is throwing down Defender mode circles everywhere. The Queen's trying to get out of that range, trying to kill the Liberator. That's the only anti-air that is here until the Mutas show up, though. And the Mutas are going to take it down. The last Hellbat falls to that Spine. MVP Spine, man. Ends up with 8 kills.
Yeah.
Wow.
Overall, nice defense by Bly. He did lose quite a lot there, though, so he's not out of scot-free for sure. While in the background of this, Jking was macroing up. Since he had Liberator production, he can make more if he needs to counteract any mass Muta play. But Liberator's only about halfway done at the moment. His Marines just trying to buy time, shoo away these Mutalisks, but they're actually being quite a bit of nuisance as there's no anti-air in the natural besides this handful of Marines in the natural of Jking. This is looking pretty bad.
Trying to build a missile turret. It's just about to complete here. Marine count is enough to drive these Mutas off, though, even without the turret, but lost 10 SCVs.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, so both players have lost a bunch of workers. Only 3 drones have died for Bly. That's a surprisingly low number. And 10 SCVs for Jking.
Yeah, Jking was very bullish of not moving his workers away from his mineral line while these Mutalisks were harassing. He was just adamant on keeping his workers there. I'm going to get this turret up. I'm going to let my Marines do the work. but there wasn't enough Marines to shoo away to discourage Bly from killing workers. And yeah, he lost 10 SCVs for like 1 Mutalisk in that engagement.
Yeah, definitely an interesting decision. Continuing with Liberator production, though, here is Jking. Good against mutas because they do splash damage in their anti-air mode. So a good choice if your opponent's going too heavy on the Mutalisk count. But I don't see any continued muta pressure at all coming out from Bly. Just getting Glial Reconstitution, +1 Carapace, +1 missile attack. Going to switch it up to Roach Ravager, I think. And we'll have to see how Jking responds to that one.
Yeah, I like that Jking has these 2 Liberators that managed to show off, actually babysitting his Liberators so they didn't get overwhelmed by the Mutalisks, and getting the Mutalisks quite low in health. Also, let's look at the supplies. Jking is ahead in supply of a Zerg player by about 10 supply, just powering up his Bioforce, getting some Medivacs out, pumping out the Marines with the reactored barracks. And he has 3 Liberators, which is a healthy amount, either to counter potential Mutalisks or to use their own siege mode when he decides to push. Or, in this case, a defense as well. We have Bly on 3 bases, starting to saturate it up. He is ahead in workers at 60 drones versus 45 of our Terran player. And I like the position of Bly economically, but I think if there comes a moment where our Terran player here, Jking, decides to push, he's in a very powerful position. The military of him alone is hard counter to what Bly has right now.
The mutas are still making themselves a nuisance, though, picking off individual workers here and there, trying to delay the building of buildings. Construction has been halted temporarily, though, and back home just making roaches, waiting on those upgrades, and like you said, taking a 3rd base. So we'll see if he can hold what's going to come his way, because as you said, the army for Jking is looking pretty strong, and they are starting to move out.
Yeah, the army was looking pretty strong, but Bly bought enough time with the mutas that you mentioned he was doing very good harass with, and he did. He bought enough time and allowed to keep an eye on what Jking was doing and keep him at his base. And now the army supplies are actually in favor of Bly, so we'll see if Jking can make something happen with what army he has versus this very powerful Roach Ravager army. Oh, look at that, managed to get a siege tank too.
Though. The thing about Ravagers is defender mode isn't really viable when there's Ravagers on the field. Acer.Bly can take those out moderately effectively, especially from range here. More Ravagers getting morphed in for that very specific purpose, and Jking recognizes, I can't push onto creep with this composition. There are too many roaches, too many Ravagers, and goes back home trying to save what he can. And the mutas are still alive, trying to make off reinforcements that were trying to join the army at the front. Man, Bly playing this so well right now.
Yeah, getting his money's worth out of those Mutalisks in the end. The time bought that he bought with them was enough to that paid them in dividends. But he got some extra harass while the attack was going on. They do get cleaned up finally now, evaporated. But that's a lot of Roach Ravager right now, just absolutely melting the army of Jking as the Liberators try to siege up. But yeah, as you mentioned before, Liberators do not fare well against Corrosive Bile.
It's just because they can't move. I mean, it's not that they're not strong or anything, but anything that can't move is just so susceptible to Corrosive Bile hits. Liberators, again, taking more shots. Another tank falls to that Corrosive Bile ability. Marines and Marauders stimming forward with some medevac support, trying to make this happen. But meanwhile, a 4th base coming up for Acer.Bly on the left side of the map near that Zelnaga watchtower. And it's essentially a 2-base Terran who's starting to get mined out in his main. It does not look good at all for Jking here in game number 3.
Yeah, Jking does not believe in the 3rd base. He's adamant he does not believe in its existence, and we have not seen any sign of one from him in this series so far. As Bly is applying the pressure, picking off another siege tank here and there, something that increasingly Jking cannot afford to lose. Any unit lost is a unit he cannot gain back at this stage of the game. He is mining out from his main, and his natural is also getting quite low.
Yeah, a lot of just wounded Marines, wounded Marauders here, overstimmed a little bit, hoping to get healed up. But the weaker they are during the attack, the faster they fall. Coming up, going from the high ground, now possibly trying to get that tank with the Corrosive Bile. The tank Liberator combination with Corrosive Bile would be nice, I think, for Bly. And just moving right on in, not even throwing down that many Biles, just getting right on top of everything there and backing out. Once again, tank count maybe a little bit too high, defender mode a little bit too strong at the same time, forcing the Bile units back, using the Bile, and maybe coming back another day.
Yeah, the 4th base is up and mining quite healthily for Bly. He could take these inefficient engagements versus a 2-base Terran quite anytime he wants. I'm kind of surprised that Bly hasn't scouted the rest of the map to see if there's any proxy. Oh my gosh, a 3rd base. Or is it even a 3rd base? That is his main actually moving over. So it's technically not even a 3rd base. Doesn't count.
That doesn't count. Nope, doesn't count. Infestors on the way for Bly, as well as a Hive. We might see some Fungal to the everlasting delight of Element.
Yeah. Gotta love, Nurchio, man. Pioneer of that build. I love it. I love watching it, too.
Very strong indeed. These roaches try and do some damage, get shoved away there, but 4 SCVs did die. It's 68 to 41 Harvesters. Acer.Bly is absolutely killing it. Economically, income tab, he's up to 1,700 versus 1,200 for the Terran player, 900 gas to 200 gas for the Terran player. And again, Terran doesn't need as much gas as Zerg does, but the discrepancy is just getting bigger every minute here. Jking needs to win a battle and needs to win it decisively in order to win this match.
Yeah, absolutely. But these, we got some Fungals and Corrosive Bile, as you said, and it goes down. Fungal hits a good chunk of that Marine Marauder combination. The Medivacs are stuck in position too, as the splash damage from the Corrosive Bile absolutely annihilates that army. Just gone. Absolutely gone. Acer.Bly, man. On fire. Fire with bile, that's for sure. GG's called.
Taking game number 3, it is now 2-1 in favor of Bly versus Jking. Match point. One more win for Acer.Bly, and he'll move on in to our grand finals today.
Yeah, well played by Bly from beginning to end. I gotta love the tenacity of Jking. Gotta commend him for that. Although I think the game plan in this particular situation could use some adapting, but we'll see how he chooses to go about it in the next game. And we're heading into the 4th game right away, guys, of Jking versus Bly in the semifinals of the Gauntlet StarCraft Legacy of the Void Qualifier. And, oh yeah, I guess Bly is up 2-1. Something of note. He will head into the finals if he wins this next game. The winner will face Firecake. Firecake, who took out Myungshik earlier on. In what was a wonderful series and a spectacular feat of fortitude anyway.
Intestinal fortitude.
I mean, especially that last game. I mean, we went to 5 games, and it was a crazy series. Myungshik doing the Myungshik build, and Firecake doing whatever he does. And then, I don't know, it felt more like Myungshik, like whenever he did something different, he'd lose. And every single time, and then except the last game, then Firecake decided to throw that wrench into the old cogs, and with that 2-base all in, that completely took Myungshik off guard. It was a very spectacular series, guys. When VODs are available, I do recommend checking that out if you did not see it. Firecake versus Myungshik. Even though I already gave you spoilers, doesn't matter. It was amazing. All right, guys. We are heading to game 4 right now. To the north, we have the Blue Zerg. It is Bly.
And to the south, in Dusk Towers, we have the red Terran player hailing from Russia. It is Jking. They're making fun of you, and they're making fun of you in Twistcat because you said GG was called and there was no GG in the last game.
Oh, well, I call it a good game. Am I not entitled to my opinion?
We show manner even if nobody else is doing it.
Yeah. Take that, Twistcat. Although Twistcat's never wrong, so I concede. Yeah, we have a very conservative opening by our Zerg player, taking that fast gas. It decides to take the hatch first on the low ground expansion, or on the outside expansion rather, which is nice. I don't mind that choice. It allows creep spread to occur a lot faster when you take the forward expansion first. Helps prevent any such as Hellbat pushes or whatever, take you less by surprise in this case. But what is in store from our Jking friend here? That's the real story.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of different play from Jking. We've seen Liberators, we've seen tank marine pushes, we've seen proxy command centers and a triple proxy racks. And so I feel like this is kind of the anti-Myungshik, right? Jking does whatever he wants, whatever he feels like doing. He has several strong builds he can use. Although it doesn't seem to have that one go-to like Myungshik does. Perhaps you wish he had one, because that would come in handy right about now, down 2-1 in the series. Yeah,
well, let's keep in mind, as much as we love the builds of our Terran friend here, he only won 1 game so far. He still has a road ahead of him. He has to win 2 more in order to take this series away from Bly. But either way, again, any fans of these players, these top 4 have qualified for next weekend's global finals, so you'll see a lot more of them then, as they compete against 15 other players in addition to themselves. $4,000 prize pool. Anyway, we have, again, the standard 6 lings from Bly here to defend against the Reaper. A familiar dance that we've seen time and time again in events including Bly, I should say.
So the Reaper, again, just being annoying. I'm not sure he's actually gotten a single drone kill in this entire series, but this is the standard opening, so this is exactly what Jking is doing. Queen's getting some shots off. Can it escape? And yes, it does escape with his life. And with Scout, so recognizes the placement of that hatchery. The question is it a 3-hatch opening? He's not entirely sure if there's one back there or not, and there's not. It's a 2-base opener from Bly. And meanwhile, second command center, orbital command coming on up in the safe place for Jking, and now the timing on the 3rd hatch for Bly has finally arrived. And there it goes. Ready, set, go. Oh my gosh, don't make me a liar. Bly, thank you. Wow, that was delayed. That was delayed.
Right, speed is done now for Bly, and there's just I guess Jking has 2 Hellions on the way, 2 more to follow that up, running across the map. But with Speedlings on the field, Speedlings can catch up. Oh, nice little chase here. That will eventually catch that Reaper. But these Lings will meet the Hellions. But this is actually pretty good for Bly, because he gets an early warning that these Hellions are on the field. And almost always, when there's 2 Hellions, there's 4. And there's going to be 2 more on the way, indeed. Bly will have to respond correctly, getting enough Lings out, or throw down a safety Roach Warren if it gets out of hand, which is a little less likely in this case.
So 2 Queens standing at the top of the ramp, ready for those Hellions to come in. They're not the best at dealing with Hellions. Roaches are usually the answer there, or Speedlings, if they can get a surround. So the Queens are trying to get some shots off on the Hellions before they move it into this mineral line. And new roasty, toasty drones lining up, not actually splitting that well at all, but the Lings get the surround. Oh, using the drones on the surround. All the Hellions die in exchange for 9 workers.
Wow, 9
came out ahead there.
That well, I think our Terran friend here got the better end of that deal. 9 workers, this for 4 Hellions. Hellions are what, 100 mineral each, and no gas. So I think overall that was a excellent engagement by Jking. Oh no, but a Ling run by, and the Lings do get in a little bit sloppy, having that wall open up, and he's gonna lose some workers of his own.
Right on top of this, these the Liberators come in, but the Lings can dodge out of those circles pretty quickly and move on to bigger targets. This is not good at all.
Oh, that was a little bit sloppy.
It was. I can't believe they got in, and even more Lings at the front door trying to break down the supply depots. Defender mode gets rid of them very quickly as well, but the Lings, the Hellions and the Marines are going to try to deal with them, but this is enough Lings that possibly they could get us around here, but no, the Hellions are going to clean them up fairly easily. The Marines finishing them off as well with the DPS from the Liberator up ahead. And that's it, but 13 SCVs died though, so turnabout is fair play. You harass me, I'll harass you.
Yeah, Jaking's got to be really frustrated with that right there. A simple mistake cost him his significant lead that he had. He had a healthy lead in that case. But now that's been not only nullified, but completely reversed, as now Bly has a significant advantage in workers and overall supply.
Liberators trying to take out Overlords. For as much damage as they do in splash damage, it feels like their single target damage is very low.
It's dreadful.
They will kill the Overlords because they're slow. And there we go. So some Overlord blood falling there in the top right of the map at the time. And what's Bly up to? Getting... Is that... Wait. Galil Reconstitution. Yep. And here comes the Defender mode, locking down everything here in the front.
Queen evaporates pretty quickly.
Yeah, Queen's died pretty quick to this. Another Queen pops up to replace the one that died. Perhaps she knew. Another Liberator swinging around to that natural base. Trying to kill some stuff at the same time. Oh, 3 Queens, but 2 Defender mode circles. The Queens want to get that Liberator, and they do. Nice pickup there. And in range to take out this other one at the same time. Meanwhile, this Liberator is up to 4 drone kills. A single Queen trying to kill it. It goes back into flying mode and escapes. But it will be back shortly, I have to imagine. Queens trying desperately to hold off here, and that is something that changed in Legacy of the Void, where Liberators used to have greater range on that Defender mode circle. It could extend further away from the Liberator itself. It was impossible to kill in certain maps, and so Blizzard basically made the range a little bit shorter so that ground units can actually hit it. It does force some repositioning by the Terran, and that looks like it's it from the Liberator harass for the time being.
Yeah, and be still my beating heart. There's a 3rd command center on the way for Jking right now, but lo and behold, there's creep at his 3rd base. So a little bit of a punch in the gut there for this. Yeah, this is why he never gets a 3rd, because it's always creeped up. But yeah, trying to get what he can done with his Liberators, but they have not done the damage that was required. He will get some drones here actually. This is pretty nice. 5
Bly
drones.
not even
6.
Bly-
Oh my goodness.
refusing to move his workers. The Liberator dies, but that's a fair trade.
Yeah, not
Jking's
so
gotta
bad.
be okay with
6
that.
drones. That's not bad at all. He needs those. He needs more of those engagements though, and he's looking to get just that as he's sending 2 more Liberators across the map. Is Jking? Jking is now moving his command center to take his third base, as he now sees there's creep there. Again, much to his dismay. These Liberators need to put in some extra damage here, but with the Ravagers on the field, they become less and less effective, as we have seen multiple times before. So he needs to find a window, some opening in Bly's armor here that can acquire some damage that he needs to secure his third. Because right now, Bly is absolutely rising fast in supply, just due to the nature of a Roach-based army, and the effectiveness of this Terran army is rather minimal versus a Roach-heavy army. There's not enough Marauders in the field, pretty Marine-heavy, and he only has a handful of tanks, like 1 or 2, I believe, right now. And but now, exactly what he's doing is buying time, keeping these Roaches and Ravagers at home, managing
Yeah, but why are the Roaches at home? What are they going to do against Liberators?
That's just that's the question, isn't it?
Maybe fair enough. I'm not crazy.
Maybe he has them all in one hotkey and he's not separating them. I think he just corrected that. Now he's leaving his Ravagers at home, sending his Roaches across the map, which is what he should have did a minute ago. But that being said, there's still not a lot of Marauders on the field, and Roaches are a pretty good unit, last I heard. And there's only 2 siege tanks in the front line of Jking. So, and he's also mining out from the main. Is Jking as well. This third is extraordinarily vital to him, and he cannot afford to lose any more workers. But this is a lot of Roaches on the field for our Acer Zerg player, as he himself takes his 4th base.
The Roaches do have +1/+1. Meanwhile, a lot of upgrades coming down from Jking at the same time, getting infantry armor, infantry weapons, as well as vehicle weapons at the same time. So really planning and upgrading these tanks as well as these bio units, and the Roaches are heading back onto the creep. Creep spread's actually kind of amazing.
Very
now
good.
for Bly. Spreading down multiple lanes, going left, going right, spreading up. It's like a living being right now. Some of the best spread I've seen in a long time.
Yeah,
really
you can see the creep.
Sure he has that vision.
You can see the creep tumor tendrils spreading across the map like a hand, and it's wonderful to watch. As he, excellent too, because you can see any pushes, any multi-pronged attacks. It's absolutely vital on any map, and I think Bly is one of the best players at it. I haven't seen too much of it in this event, like any notable creep spread until this map, and I hope to see more of it. It's one of the most underrated mechanics in the Zerg arsenal. It's just, map presence is included in map presence is creep spread, and that can lend to a tactical victory in a key battle. This is a very interesting Zergling right here. It seems very, very interesting indeed.
Fungal Bile, a distinct possibility. Infestors on the way. Ravagers on the field at the same time. Those medevacs need to be very careful. And a Hive, yes, Hive's coming up.
Yeah, but this Infestor Fungal Bile, it's a pretty powerful combination as it is. So whatever tech that Bly can get on top of that will just be icing on the cake, as our Terran player Jking is on 3 bases, but he's mining out quickly. His main is completely mined out. His natural is running really low. He needs to secure a 4th base, possibly even soon to get a 5th. But will Bly let him do it? As he's pushing in with his Roach Ravager Infestor army, gets a nice little fungal here just to force some respect out of Jking. Jking splits up his army quite nicely, but that is quite a few medevacs here as well.
Oh, Fungal's on top of the Marines on the top side as well, but tank count a little bit too high right now for Bly. Forced to retreat back onto the creep there. And again, the creep is pretty much at the front door of the Terran player. Should really get out there and start getting rid of that. Ultralisk Cavern on the way. +1 melee attack being researched. Adrenal Glands on the way for the Lings. Increases their attack speed by 40%. As well as Burrow Move and Burrow. All right, so Bly's planning on some Burrow Move Roach tactics. We'll see how that works. Jking has to be so careful moving out here with those particular medevacs, just because the Fungal Bile is such a possibility.
The Fungal goes down.
Oh, Bile, there it is! Fungal Bile doing a ton of damage there. Medevacs falling at the same time. And Roaches sneaking around the left side, going after reinforcing units. Exactly what Zerg players need to do, forcing the entire army back, giving Bly time to get out his own Ultralisks, as well as with that +3 armor and chitinous plating. This is not looking good at all in this match point.
Oh, nice Burrow. Burrow's right underneath the siege tanks, which are left alone, right in the middle of the map. Very sloppy of Jking, and he loses a handful of his very vital siege tanks for absolutely nothing, while he's distracted from the Roaches running into his 3rd base. Ouch, that hurts. Man, Bly is getting every research possible. That in the kitchen sink, it seems. He's prepared for any tech path that our Terran player may choose to use. I know Bly is well prepared at this stage of the game. He knows how to play the late game. Creep spread has covered over half the map. He's doing a burrowed roach play in multiple locations just to spread the attention of Jking, which is absolutely vital in a game as intense as this, at a stage like this, forcing your opponent off his macro, off his micro, and forcing him to multitask when he does not want to multitask. And Bly does this. I've seen him do this time and time again. He's an absolute expert at spreading his opponent's attention thin and capitalizing on it.
Yep, absolutely. I can see Jking coming back and winning this one, but just for how well Bly has been playing with the fungal bile threat as well, I just don't. It's hard for me to see it. It is possible, but it's going to be difficult, is all I'm trying to say. So we're going to see if Big Boss can represent Russia, make this happen here, catching some burrowed roaches, trying to sneak on past, completely massacred by those ground units.
The Ravagers.
Ravagers on the high ground. Oh, SCV massacre. There's 7 SCVs falling, and the Ravagers just head on back home, using the speed boost from the creep there. Corrosive Bile being thrown down, making sure you cannot land here, you cannot land up here, this is my area. And then just going back home.
Now, there's a healthy number of Ultralisks on the field as well, and I think Jking really knows that he's up against the wall and has to make something happen as he's, courageously moving across the map despite seeing what he saw. He has to get some damage done, and critical damage at this stage of the game.
And here come the Ultralisks, just crushing down on everything right now. Fungal keeping the bio units in place, Corrosive Bile taking out the tanks. The army supply is plummeting for Jking right now. Ultras chasing the entire army back on home. Infestors following them up. Ravagers as well. Stimming are these units so low on health. There's a planetary fortress here. It's not enough. I don't think the Ultra is getting right on top of that PF. It is being repaired, but Corrosive Bile being thrown down on the workers. The planetary fortress falls. The army is right on top of everything that is happening right now for Jking. And that's it. Another
GG.
Wow. From Jking. Bly wins the series 3-1 and does move on into the final.
Or no GG, but you know what? I thought that was a really good game by Bly. Congratulations to Bly for making it into the finals of the Gauntlet StarCraft Legacy of the Void qualifier number 2. This is the EU qualifier, played largely on the EU server, and he moves on to the finals, guaranteed $100 for his troubles. But congratulations to Jking for making it this far. The majority of us have not seen this guy play, have not even heard his name, and he put on a show in this event from the looks of it. So he does qualify for those fans of Jking, or newly made fans of Jking. Be encouraged. He will be here next week. That is December 12th. That is a Saturday for the Global Finals, the Gauntlet SC2 Global Finals $1,000 event. That's going to be epic, Falcon Paladin. That is going to be epic.
So excited.
Yeah, and for those of you who may have missed it, other players that are going to be there will be Nurchio, Apocalypse, Bjun, Bly, who is already qualified from last week, Polt, Violet, Solar, Jakshi, and more to be announced. Also, one of today's hero players is Senin as well, who will qualify. Another relatively unknown EU player that decided to step up his game, qualify, try for this qualifier, and did indeed qualify for the global finals next week. Also is the Gauntlet StarCraft Archon mode show match between Red Bull Archon mode champions Huck and MC versus Masa and Violet in a best of 5, vying for $200. And we all know MC likes his money, so not even Huck can stop him. And in this case, we all know how helpful Huck is in the Archon mode, so it'll be exciting to watch, no doubt. So that is, again, during the finals, the global finals next Saturday. That is December 12th. Write that down, log that on your calendars, and so on and so forth. Guys, we will be heading into the finals of the Gauntlet StarCraft Legacy of the Void qualifier number 2 momentarily. It will be against Bly and Firecake. What?
Pretty exciting stuff.
Bly and Firecake.
Awesome.
Firecake, I'm going to say that forever. And Bly...
Firecake and Bly?
Bly and Firecake, that's great. I'm going to stumble over that all series long. It is a best of 7, guys, coming up pretty dang soon. And the winner gets $150, second place $100. Again, both have already qualified for the global finals next week. As ZVZ, another ZVZ, we've seen a couple of these today, and you know what? They're thoroughly enjoyable. We saw a wide variety of play, not a whole lot of proverbial knife fighting as ZVZ traditionally is. Not to say we won't see it, but it's not what we've seen so far, and it's been very exciting to watch.
Absolutely. Yeah, ZVZ can be anything from Ling Baneling attacks to Roach Ravager hits, the Lurker play to Mutalisks to Corruptors to Ultras in the late game as well. So stay tuned for this amazing best of 7. Going to be great between two of the best players on Earth right now, playing for the honor to win this qualifying round. They've already qualified for the global final that will take place, but still, for bragging rights and extra money in your pocket, winning this would be awesome.
Absolutely. All right, guys, we're going to go to a very short break.